Howdy Neighbors, David here. And today on Boondock Stallions, we are on day 7 of our 31 days of horror that we do every year during October. Now, before we get started, go ahead and give this video a like and subscribe to the channel so I can keep live streaming and pumping out more videos for you guys to like or argue with me about on Facebook. And I really wish you would argue with me here down in the comments where Facebook doesn't come and take you off whenever you start wanting to name call and do whatever fun things you do. So let's try to stick to the comments here. Anywho, so today we're doing a bit of a double feature because, like I said, this month we're doing controversial and divisive horror movies, and A Seed of Chucky is in fact a controversial and very, very divisive entry in the Chucky franchise. Now, I reviewed the movie last year on my 31 Days of Horror, and I left the link down in the comments for you to check it out because literally my opinion on that review has not changed and it doesn't need to be updated. However, we are going to talk about why it is one of the more important movies in the franchise going forward for the modern era of Chucky films and how it's going to directly relate to season 2 of the Chucky TV show. Wow, that was a bit of a lot, wasn't it? Anywho. Okay, so Chucky, the TV series. Now, I really loved the season 1. Everything was great. It was a bit of a slow burn at first while you were trying to work out what it is Chucky was doing. But that's the great thing about, you know what? Let me stop right there because that directly relates to Seed of Chucky. So let's go back, shall we? Farther back to Seed of Chucky. Now, I know everybody hated this one for being a bit campy and humorous and more of a family movie, a family dynamic movie like Kramer versus Kramer, instead of being a straight up macabre horror movie the way Chucky had been going with Bride of Chucky and even the comedy in the early Child's Play movies. So Seed of Chucky was a very, very different movie stylistically. However, the two most important parts at the end of the movie are not just the Glenda thing and the soul of the child being transferred into a boy and a girl so that they could have both Glenn and Glenda, because that character has been recast by Lachlan Watson for the Chucky show, and she'll be playing both Glenn and Glenda, which is a really beautiful choice. And I mean, it's not off brand for Chucky. I mean, they have, like, honestly, I made a video where I thought that Devon Sawa was going to be playing a younger version of Charles Lee Ray in flashbacks. And while Devon Sawa is not playing the younger Charles Lee Ray, there were in fact flashbacks to younger Charles Lee Ray, played by Brad Dourif's daughter, Fiona, taking on 2 roles in the show, or technically 3, because she was playing young Charles Lee Ray. She was playing her own character, Mika, and she was playing Mika possessed by Chucky. Like, so 3. Like, that's pretty broad acting for one show. So let's give her a hand. I can't do it. I'm holding my microphone in my mouth. But Glenn and Glenda. Okay, so they got Glenn and Glenda into real bodies so they can be part of the story moving forward, and we're getting live action versions of them. Now, the most important part of the movie was Chucky's revelation at the very, very end as he was about to put his soul into the body of Jennifer Tilly's limo driver, and Tiffany was going to go into Jennifer Tilly, obviously being one of the most meta things you could do. But, this is the 5th movie. I mean, there was 3 Child's Play movies and Bride of Chucky, and in every single one, Chucky had one major goal, one major mission, and that mission was to get out of that damn doll's body and into the first human whom he told his secret about being Charles Lee Ray. And while he was thwarted every single time, and he was finally at the precipice of succeeding in Curse of Chucky, he realized that maybe he didn't want to be a human anymore. I mean, humans get old, they get sick, they die. He's more famous as Chucky the Killer Doll than he ever was as Charles Lee Ray. He's infamous. He's the most notorious serial killer of all time. He is Chucky the Killer Doll, and he digs it. And that revelation that he made at the end of the movie was so freeing for the character. I mean, it just took all of the emotional baggage and weight that he'd been carrying since the first movie all away. It was gone. He didn't have to do any of this anymore. He was a fucking doll. He could do whatever he wanted to on the planet. And he decided, fuck it. we're going to go on a revenge mission and kill everybody that's pissed me off along the way in the cruelest ways possible. Tiffany, put me in a box and ship me to some assholes. And you know what? It works because right after Seed of Chucky, you get Curse of Chucky, which was a beautiful return to form for the horror franchise. It was a little bit 80s Chucky, it was a little bit modern Bride of Chucky, and it was all current awesome Chucky. A truly great movie, and it's a shame that the lackluster review that Seed of Chucky got caused Curse of Chucky to go straight to DVD and not to the theater. So that's on us as fans. And I know I'm saying us because we as a fan group are all the same, but you know who you are specifically. Anywho, so that revelation that Chucky had at the end of the movie is pretty much what has him moving forward in the next series. He gets to Cult of Chucky, and he's decided, let's go back to the last victim I was supposed to have while I was human. That was the girl Nika and her mother and her sister, and he took care of them, put Nika in a mental institution, and that carries on into Cult of Chucky when you find out that he has learned to put his soul into other dolls. He basically pulled a Voldemort and started splitting his soul, and he did it quite a bit throughout the show too. I don't want to give too much away if you haven't seen it, but once again, it's completely original, it's unique, and while having multiple Chuckies does add to the comedic element, it doesn't really take away from the campy, macabre, Chucky style humor, murder, gore, slasher film thing that we've all come to love and enjoy. I really, I I hope that with the Chucky show, we actually find closure for the character. I made a video about 2 years ago breaking down why the Chucky franchise is the strongest. And when I say the strongest out of the franchises that came out in the 70s and the 80s, I mean it is airtight. It's not the best. It's not my favorite. It is, however, the strongest in all the franchises. So don't get butthurt and go, oh, Michael Myers is the best. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the best franchise. What are you talking about? Bro, it's an opinion and it's airtight. Like, watch the video. Check it out. I'll leave a link down in the comments. So then you get to season 2 of Chucky, and like I said, we've cast Lachlan Watson as a live-action Glenn Glenda instead of bringing back Billy Boyd. And you know what? We could still, in fact, get a cameo from Billy Boyd. As we know in the show, there is a Chucky doll and a live-action Chucky in a human body. There is also a Tiffany doll and Tiffany in Jennifer Tilly's body. So there's every chance that they still have the Glenn doll from Seed of Chucky somewhere that could have been given its own little multi-personality soul of Glenn Glenda and is still living with the other dolls somewhere. It's just a theory. I don't know, maybe. But I do like that we do have live action Glenn Glenda for the series because I think that they are going to be an amazing, funny addition to the cast. Let's see. Is there anything else? Not really. I mean, the first episode of season 2 was a bit of a slow burn, but I mean, the very first episode of season 1 was a kind of a slow burn until you get to the last 15 minutes where you can kind of see what Chucky's up to. And you're like, he's not going to, son of a bitch, that's brilliant, hilarious, bloody, gory, and disturbing, just like every Chucky / horror movie should be. So give Seed of Chucky a watch, with fresh eyes, and let me know what you think about that revelation that Chucky has at the end of the movie. And did it, in fact, save the series going forward for the sequels? If you haven't seen any of the sequels, check them out. Go to Prime Video. I'll loan you my copy if you're close enough. I don't care. They're great movies. I enjoy Chucky, even if it's not, say, the usual bloody, gory mess that we all love and have come to expect from Chucky. Seed of Chucky was a decent film nonetheless. So that's all I've got for you today. Be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.